so interesting to me. Okay, let's get to our chairs. If you wish to begin standing, you certainly can for the following moves. Have the chair in front of you for support in case your balance gets a little wonky, or to the side. But all of these things can be done standing or seated. Let's begin with a big sigh. Deep inhale. Sigh out the mouth. Let's squeeze the eyes shut. Take a deep inhale. And on the exhale, open the eyes, allow the eye muscles to relax. Progressive relaxation. Squeeze the shoulders, shrug them up to ears. Take a deep breath in. Shrug, 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 squeeze. On the exhale, drop the shoulders, shake it out. Now we do the fist. Squeeze the fists. Take a deep inhale, squeeze. Contract the belly too for this one. And then exhale, let it go, shake it out. Hand on the chest, hand on the belly. Let's take a deep inhale and hum the exhale. Hum as loud as you can. Two more, just like that. Exhaling the hum, and do your speed. Short or longer, whatever, do your speed. One more. If you haven't gotten there yet. All right. After you finish the third one, rest your hands on your lap. We will do 3 more humming breaths. I encourage you to find a different tone. Hum higher, hum lower. If humming is challenging for you, hum whatever way you can, whatever tone can be released. That's number 1. Change the pitch of the hum. Number 2 is to notice the silence after the hum, the quiet, the calm, the nothingness, the space. All right, so we notice the humming, the vibration, and then when it ends, we notice the quiet. 3 times your speed. Breathe in. Very good, very nice. So this is something that is very powerful. There's many benefits to humming. It helps our vagus nerve, which in turn is healing our organs and our nervous system. So the habit of humming is a very healthy habit. Thank you for humming with me. It's called Brahmari breath. Brahmari means bumblebee in Sanskrit. Bumblebee breath. Let's stand or sit nice and tall. Tone the belly. On the inhale, lift the chin. On the exhale, lower chin to chest. Maybe the bottom of the chin can touch the chest without forcing. Inhale, lift the chin. Nice and slow. Exhale, lower chin to chest. And continue. The vagus nerve is the nerve that's connected to all of our major organs. And it's the correspondence pathway where our organs speak to our brain. So usually our nervous system, our brains, the grand central station is sending messages to our organs. The vagus nerve sends messages from our organs to our brain. It's very interesting. It can go the other way too, and it does. One more, lifting the chin, inhale. And exhale, lower the chin to chest. Keep the chin at the chest, but lift the chest to the chin. Roll the shoulders back. This is starting and ending point now for our next neck movement. Drawing a circle with the chin. Drawing a circle. The head does not have to go all the way back. We start with chin to chest and we end with chin to chest. And keep going in this direction. We will change after about 8 circles or so. Go nice and slow. Don't worry about the breath with this one. In fact, I don't ever want you to worry about your breath in yoga class. When we suggest inhaling and exhaling with certain movements, that's like suggesting we want a cherry on the sundae. It's that extra bit that makes our practice a little fancy. All right, next time your chin is to chest, pause, re-lengthen the posture, re-lift and tone, and go in the other direction. I'm so happy you all showed up today, showing up for yourself. When you show up for yourself, especially to a group activity like this, you're showing up for others. We love to see each other's names and faces. I know I do, and I'm not alone. I'm pretty normal. All right, head on straight. Let's shrug the shoulders up the ears and roll them back and allow them to settle. Couple more times. With the chin neutral, so the bottom of the chin is level to the floor, turn your head to the right, shoulders stay settled, and then back forward, nice and slow, turn your head to the left. Please don't force the movement. Explore the edge where your body is telling you, okay, that's a good place to pause and change directions. The eyes can probably look farther to the side or behind than the head can. And so we can add eye yoga by stretching our eyes a little further than our neck. How is your posture? Standing, sitting upright, nice and tall. All right, once we've arrived back to center, sit up nice and tall, lengthen through crown of head, lower one ear towards one shoulder, and maybe reach out with the opposite hand. If you're reaching out with the hand, place it back to your side if you're standing, or your lap if you're sitting. Lift the head back up to center. And then we will go to the other side. Lowering the ear towards the shoulder, maybe reaching out with the opposite hand. If that's too much, leave the hand, the arm relaxed. on the lap or to the side. All right. Hand relaxes. If it's not already, lift the head up to center. And now we will go with breath or a little faster. Exhaling to lower, inhaling, lift to center, exhaling to lower. We have the smallest vertebrae bones are in our neck, allowing us to move that part of the spine more freely. The farther up the spine we go, the more mobility we have. The farther down the spine, the less. Well, generally, our low back has a little more mobility, which is one of the reasons why we can get into low back problems. All right, one more time each side. Good. With head on center, roll the shoulders around. We'll make a little mudra. I'll come closer to the camera. This mudra I call Pac-Man mudra. The Pac-Man, when his mouth is closed, the thumb and the four fingertips are pressing together. Like they want to kiss. The Pac-Man mudra goes on our shoulder and stays there as we circle the elbows. The starting point is elbows in front of you, closer together. They don't have to touch, but they can. And then we draw a circle with the elbows. So we start and end with the elbows in front of the chest somewhere. Generating some heat, some movement between our shoulder blades and in our shoulders. Which, we know our shoulders can get a little cranky sometimes. We're sending them some love, treating them with kindness. All right, when your elbows are forward, switch directions, go nice and slow. Noticing what's happening, maybe hearing some noises. Sometimes our joints sound like Rice Krispie cereal. Snap, crackle, pop. Well, this direction is much easier for me. That's interesting. Okay, very nice. Releasing the hands down. If you're standing, please put one hand on the back of the chair or to the front or to the side. If you're seated, leave one hand on your lap. Straighten out the other arm and draw a big circle with that arm, forward, up, and down. We're going for, I like the number 8, probably because it looks like an infinity symbol. We're going for 8, give or take 1 or 2, and it depends what we're doing. Some of these we do a few more or many more, some not so many. And if you're a counter person and you're counting me and I'm way off, please forgive me. Change directions. I used to be a counting person, but that was in a previous life in my teens and 20s, and I'm no longer a numbers person. Awesome. Okay, we're threading the needle with this arm. So the same arm reaches out to the side, thumb up, and then crosses over the body. Like you're crossing over to shake a person's hand without turning your body. And then hook it with the other arm. If you're standing and you need your other arm on the chair, don't worry about hooking. Just reach over to the side. Breathe. Safety first, always. That's our first rule in yoga, ahimsa. Okay, release and let that arm shake out, dangle, 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 shake. Other arm, big circles. The more we move our joints, the better they feel. Some days are tougher than others. Some days we don't want to move because our joints are stiff and whole and really making movement difficult. And that's the day, that's the time when we need to really move more. Remember, change directions, remind ourselves that movement will help the situation. We're preparing for our job interview at the airport to guide the airplanes in safely. We're preparing for that job interview. All right, reach that arm out to the side, cross it over the body, and then hook it in for that little extra stretch, threading the needle. This whole sequence is called Upa Yoga, UPA. It's a very common sequence for joint health. Release the arm, and then let's just seal in what we did. Guide that airplane in safely down the runway. We got our job. We're hired. Delta wants us to work for them. Okay, tuck the thumbs and wrap the fingers around the thumbs, a little fist, and it's not a tight fist, it's a loose fist. Let's reach the arms out to the side and circle the wrists. When we're reaching to the side, release the shoulders down rather than shrugging. Nice, slow circles with our wrists. Snap, crackle, pop. Change directions. All right. Release the fist, push one palm to the ceiling, one palm to the floor. Inhale, exhale, cross at the wrists in front, switch sides, palm up, palm down. Inhale, exhale, cross at the wrists. Couple more. Connecting heaven and earth. This is called connecting heaven and earth in Tai Chi. It's also called lightning bolt. Okay, one more. And now we reach our arms overhead and tuck the thumbs, and it's the same wrist circles, but our arms are pointing up. If this is too much for your shoulders or whatever, your posture, reach forward, straight in front of you. Change directions. I hope I didn't already say that. I don't think I did on this with this one. This one is very challenging for me. And the only reason I say those things out loud is so that to validate if some things are more challenging for you. That's normal. We're all in different bodies and we all feel things differently, different times of day, different days of the week. Shake it out. All right, next one. Okay, let's review hinging before we get to the next one. And for those of you standing, this will be challenging to the balance. So my suggestion, just for the people who want to stand, who have their balance, you may want the back of the chair facing you or the chair seat. It's important to hinge at the hips. Bend the knees and hinge at the hips. Keep your back flat. We're folding in half at the hip crease, not the waist. The waist is part of our back. It's very important. And the chair is there for a reason, and you'll find out in a moment. For those of us in the chair, it's the same thing. We're hinging at the hip crease. I like to put my fingers or my thumbs right in that fold and make sure that's where I'm folding. It's not up higher at the waist where we're rounding. Okay, commercial for back safety is over. Interlace the fingers and flip the palms away. And then they start at the chest. This is inhale. Exhale, we hinge and push our hands away. Inhale up, hands up, body up. Exhale, fold, hinging. So for those of you standing, on your exhale, when you're pushing your hands away, they may want to push right into the chair seat or the back of the chair as a grounding point. For those of us seated, we have already 4 grounding points, our feet and our sitting bones. Inhale, exhale. This one is very customized for speed. Maybe slow is for you today, maybe faster. This is a pumping out. We're folding and unfolding, pumping our circulation, warming up the hip joint. Obviously, we're using our wrists, elbows, and shoulders as well for this. Do this a few more times. Great way to get the cerebral spinal fluid flowing, warm up. This is great to do when you're settled in to watch TV for the evening and you find yourself, you've sat there without moving for a half hour. Do a few of these. All right, let's pause, standing, seated, or seated. Just feel the flow of the blood, the energy, the breath. All right, the next one is very similar, but instead of interlacing the fingers, we reach up with the arms. If this bothers your shoulder, reach down low to the sides. Inhale is when we reach, exhale is when we fold. Please, if you're standing, make sure when you fold that you bend the knees. This is part of our job interview for the airplane, for us to work on the tarmac, is that what it's called? Land right here, 727. Take me to Hawaii, please. So release that exhale on the fold, squeeze it out. Finding our rhythm for the final 8 or so. Press down to the feet, pressing down to the feet, lifts the body up And it's called root to rise. Good. Finishing up, finding stillness, feeling the flow of breath, the flow of energy, the flow of blood. Good stuff. If you need to wiggle and shake it out, please do. Now we will twist with using our arms. So the upper body is going to twist. This usually changing our focus point from side to side is more challenging for the balance. So if you are standing and you are feeling a little balance challenge today, please sit down or leave one arm on the chair and swing that other arm to the side as you twist. And then when you come back forward, switch hands. That hand that just swung behind you holds the chair and the other one opens to the side. For those of us seated or can use two free arms, we hold them in front. Fingers are touching. They're all side by side. The hands are closed and the palms are facing one another. We twist to the side, come back to center, and twist to the other side. If you like connecting breath with movement, it's the exhale, twist, inhale back to center. Find your rhythm, find your speed, find your flow. And we're never forcing anything. We're encouraging and inviting and exploring where our range of motion is today, this hour. Good. Pausing with arms down to the side or sitting on the chair or the lap. Feel the flow, breath, circulation, and energy. The prana. Okay, this one is for hips, and it'll look pretty different for the people standing. Let me demonstrate standing, and then we'll go to the chair. So actually, I'm going to do it standing because I have a feeling most of you will want to do it standing. On the chair, we're going to circle the rib cage. We lift the rib cage off the hips and shift it to the side, and then we hinge forward, shift it to the other side, hinge back. We need some space behind us, so walk your hips forward a bit on the chair so there's a little bit of space. So it's four corners: side, front, side, back, side, front, side, back. And then eventually, after a few rounds, we smooth it out into a circle. We're still touching those corners, but we're smoothing it out into the circle. For those of us that will stand, we bend the knees, bump the hips to the side, then back, and here we are hinging forward to counterbalance the weight, and then we bump to the other side, and then we bump forward. It's kind of a pelvic tuck, and the upper body's leaning back. Side, back, side, forward. So we're thinking more about the hips when we're standing. The hips are moving rather than the rib cage as those in the chair. And then after we've bumped those four corners a few passes, we start to smooth it out, still hitting those four corners, but rounding it into an oval or circle. If you're standing, please keep the knees soft and use the chair for support. If you don't need the chair, and you want to really focus on a drishti and challenge your balance more, and you feel safe, put your hands on your hips. Okay, whether you're seated or standing, come to stillness, neutral posture, standing mountain, seated mountain, and we will switch directions with the rib cage or the hips. Either way, we're hinging, not rounding the back. Bumping those four corners first. And then smoothing it out into our circle, smoothing out the lines between the corners. Awesome, very nice. Okay, pausing in stillness, seated mountain, standing mountain. The next posture movement is for our knees. If you're standing, bend the knees and put your palms on the knees. Big hands, we're not gonna move the kneecap. And put your feet together. And we circle the knees. They're being maybe a little bit guided with the hands, but not really. The hands are over them, protecting them. Circle the knees. And do this several times and change directions. If you're seated in a chair, walk the feet in under you, come up onto the toes, and circle the knees with the hands on knees. And then change directions. Okay, pause. If you're standing, hold the back of your chair, place the weight. Well, all of us place all the weight in the left foot, lift the right foot and swing the lower leg back and forth. If you're seated and you need to hold your leg up with your hands, please do that. That is absolutely fine. Awesome. And then set that right foot down, shift the weight into the right leg, come up onto the left toes, lift the left foot up, doesn't have to come far off the ground, and then swing it back and forth. Good. Awesome. Okay. The ankles. So if you're standing, find a drishti. Well, let's all find a drishti. Something in front of us that's not moving where we can gaze at softly. Shift the weight onto the left foot and come up onto the right toes. Lift the right toes, so you're hovering the right foot over the floor. Circle, draw a circle with the big toe. We're circling the ankle. If you need to hold onto the chair, please do. Hands at hips is nice. One hand at hip, one hand on chair. If you're seated, hands on hips, or hold the leg up. Change directions. When we're standing on one leg, even if we're sitting and we have one leg on the floor, that drishti, that focus practice is so nice for our nervous system. It's helping us balance, creating new neurocircuits. Okay, lower that foot down. Press weight into the right foot, come up onto lift the left heel first. Anchor to your drishti, your focal point, and then lift the left toes, circle the ankle. Drawing a circle with the big toe. Doing your best. If you need to leave the foot on the floor, leave it on the floor. This isn't, yoga is not a contest. Ever, ever, ever. Change directions. It's actually a customized personal practice. And it was never taught in a group setting until, I think, the 50s, 1950s. It was always a one-on-one practice with the teacher, so it can be super customized. All right, lower that leg down, and let's just shimmy and shake it out. Loosey-goosey, bounce your bones. Very good. Okay, if you're in standing, you may want to sit down for sun salutations. You can stand for sun salutations. When we're folded forward, just put your hands on the chair. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, hinge forward, hands to lap or the chair. Exhale to lengthen. Inhale to lengthen, excuse me. Exhale to hinge more. Hinge a little deeper. Maybe the head lowers, maybe the arms lower. Let's hold our forward fold for a few breaths, giving chance for gravity to work, gently drawing the weight of our head down to lengthen the back muscles. Maybe holding the elbows feels good. If you're holding the elbows or if the arms are dangling, put one hand on the chair, put the other hand on the chair. If you're seated, put your hands on your lap. Press yourself up until you feel a flat back, halfway up. If you're standing, this would be parallel to the floor. If you're seated, it's 45-degree angle, halfway up. Tone the belly, lengthen the neck. Let's slide our hands to our waist and squeeze the elbows towards the ceiling, behind us. And then corset the ribs, engage the front ribs. Breathe. Look forward, chest looks forward, and now straighten the arms behind you. Breathe. Good. Fold the elbows, hands in front of shoulders, palms facing out. Squeeze the elbows in towards the waist and back. Corset the ribs and grow long in the neck. Breathe. On the exhale, push yourself upright. Hands to the side if you're standing or to the chair, hands to the lap if you're seated. Let's take half moon. Reach the left arm up and over. Right arm reaches down. It can hold the chair or it can hold the leg of the chair. Breathe. Big breath. Big half moon. Come on back to center. Other side. Reach up with the right arm and over. Keeping that upward lift. The left arm is supporting on the chair somewhere. It can even be on the hip. Breathe. Half moon side bend is a very good practice. Come on back to center. Let's do it dynamically. Inhale to reach up both arms. Exhale, separate, reaching to the side. The inhale draws us to center, lifted. The exhale draws us over to the side. Keep lifting. The belly is engaged. The breath is smooth, rhythmic. The breath is a good indicator. When it becomes not smooth and not rhythmic, we've gone past our edge. We need to step back a little bit. Maybe even pause. Dynamic half moon. Good. Pausing in middle. Let's make goalpost arms. Inhale and find that corset action. The belly is toned. Exhale, squeeze the hands and elbows towards one another. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. They don't have to touch, but they're squeezing in front of you somewhere. Couple more. Good. Shake it out. Awesome. Let's do a little bit of leg work. So yeah, let's sit for this internal rotation business. Walk your feet and knees together and squeeze the thighs together. The other option, if you have a block, is to put the skinny width between the legs. Root down through the left foot and lift the right foot just enough so it can clear and press out to the right. We're tick-tocking the right foot to the right. The foot stays parallel. The toes don't lead this. The side of the ankle leads this. The foot may not move much at all. We're recruiting muscles that probably have been sleeping for a long time. And it doesn't take many. We don't have to do many. That's enough. Now, both feet on the floor. Squeeze the block or the legs together. If there's no block, press down to the right foot, lift the left foot just a little, and kick it away from you. Oh boy, this muscle's been sleeping longer than the other side, I think. Not a big range. This will not be a big range. You can put your left hand on your outer hip crease, and you can feel those muscles waking up. These are like those, 13-year-old that wants to sleep past the alarm every single school day. We're waking up that 13-year-old, getting it out of bed so they don't miss the bus. All right, shake it out. Woo, woo, woo. All right, let's walk our feet. We're going to sit to stand pose, chair pose, and then we will do more hip work standing. So walk your feet in and a little bit out. My toes are pointing out a tad bit. My feet aren't perfectly parallel. I'm finding the position for my feet, and I'm asking you to find the position for your feet so that when you push both feet into the floor, driving down the floor, you feel a lift. The buttocks contract, the thighs contract. There's a strong, we're recruiting a lot of strong leg and hip muscles to lift up away from gravity. We don't have to stand. The body thinks it's standing right now by pushing down and feeling that little lift. And take a break, push down and then let it go. don't keep pushing down. It takes a lot of effort. And if you have been pushing down for a long time, make sure you take a break in between and a big breath. We can add to this movement by hinging forward. We're simply shifting the center of gravity over our feet more. And then when we push down, we may feel more of a lift because there's more to lift. That's step 2, hinging forward, pushing down, and feeling that lift, and maybe there's more of a lift. Maybe we can hover over our chair and pause, and then take a break and sit back down. This is a great thing to practice at your kitchen table, or if you have a stool at your kitchen counter, pushing the feet down and have your hands on the table or counter, something very heavy that won't move. We can root down through our feet and hands. We can even pretend there's a counter there for stability. The final step, and this is a lot, make sure you drink a lot of water after class today because we're recruiting a lot of muscles right now. The final step, if you've hovered and you think, oh yeah, my hovering's pretty strong and stable, keep pushing down and allow the legs to straighten. We're rooting more to rise. We push down to rise up. We're reteaching the body how to stand. We did this automatically when we were 12, 15 months old. Now we're reteaching the body what it learned decades ago. Come to the back of your chair. Find your standing mountain. And if you wish to practice chair pose from standing, hold on to the back of the chair, bend the knees, and imagine your butt sticking out behind you. A little bit or a lot, shifting weight. The weight will go more into the heels. This is chair pose going in the opposite direction, from standing to sitting. And then push down into the feet to re-straighten the legs. Let's do that one more time. Start to bend the knees, stick the butt back, engage the belly. Both hands can stay on the chair. One hand can go to the hip maybe. Maybe both hands to hips. Another option is one hand at the chest, like half Anjali Mudra. Maybe both hands. Maybe both arms up or forward or one arm. Be safe, be safe. Okay, both hands to the chair, push into the floor to stand. Shake it out. That's a lot. Let's shift the weight into the left leg. Hold the chair with one or both hands. I like to turn to the side, so I'm holding the chair right under my shoulder, so my posture is more upright. I'm not leaning forward or to the side. I want as much mountain posture as I can, so that chair is close to me. Shift the weight into the left leg, flex the right ankle, and let's do the same thing we did on our chair, kicking that left leg out to the side, but now it's the whole leg, not just the lower leg. The foot stays parallel, the toes are not pointing out, and we're squeezing that outer hip muscle. 10, 11 times is enough here. Pause with both feet flat on the floor. And then shift the weight into the right leg. Flex the left ankle. And hike it up enough so it's clearing the floor. And little baby kicks out to the side. We're leading with the outer ankle. The toes are still pointing directly forward. We're squeezing that outer hip muscle, the gluteus medius. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Okay, lower down. Let's take crescent warrior is our final posture. I like this standing. This is my favorite posture, standing and seated. So I'll demonstrate standing. You probably all know this, but in case you don't, face the back of your chair, step back with the left leg, and bend the right knee. It's a lunge. We're lunging into that forward leg, and we're on the ball of the back foot, and the torso's upright. On the chair, I like to sit on the corner or even looking right, and the left foot slides back behind the left hip, and the right leg is bent in the lunge. Hold the chair with the right hand to the chair seat behind you, left hand to the hip. If you're standing, the left hand to the hip can guide the hip forward, seated or standing. Guide it forward and down. Drop it and wrap it forward. Breathe. The reason I like crescent warrior so much in the chair and standing is because it really helps open up our hip flexors, which are chronically tight in most of us from our lifestyles. Maybe the left arm reaches up. All right, if you're standing, put both hands on the back of the chair. Walk the left foot forward to standing mountain. If you're seated, turn yourself to face the other direction. We will all step the right foot back. And that knee can stay bent. It does not have to straighten. Both hands to the back of the chair if you're standing. Left hand to the back of the chair if you're seated. Right hand to the hip. We're lunging in the left leg. The left knee is bent more than the right knee. And that knee is over the ankle. It's not in front of it. Maybe the right hand can go to the hip and encourage the right hip to drop a little and wrap forward. Pressing forward and down, just a little, no forcing. Breathe. Torso's upright. And maybe the right arm reaches up. Safety first. No contest. Breathe. If your right hand is up, place it on the back of the chair or to the right hip, and we will step forward to standing mountain or bring our leg back in our seated posture to sit forward. Pause in your mountain. Good. Awesome. If you would like to lie down onto the floor for Shavasana and you're standing, please lower yourself down safely to the floor. Otherwise, come back to the chair. And we can all sit back in the chair. The feet can be elevated onto blocks, a second chair, or not at all. They don't have to be elevated at all. When we come to Shavasana, we're looking for symmetry in our body. So whether you're lying down on your yoga mat, even if you're lying in your bed or sitting on a chair, find a symmetrical position where the right side matches the left side. As best you can. And it may look symmetrical, but maybe it doesn't feel symmetrical. And vice versa. It may feel symmetrical, but when you open your eyes, it may not look symmetrical. There's no wrong or right. We're not here to fix anything. We're here to notice. Here to notice. We're like a scientist observing a science project. And so that's part of the lesson in yoga is, what is this science project doing today? Wiggle the eyebrows and then start to squeeze them. Squeeze the eyes shut. Take a deep inhale. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And on the exhale, relax the eyebrows and eyes. Shrug the shoulders. Shrug, shrug, shrug. Breathe in. Shrug deeply. On the exhale, drop the shoulders. Feel heavy. With every exhale, feel yourself getting heavier and heavier. Releasing any holding. Awareness of the forehead. Bring awareness to the jaw. Ears. Throat. Neck. Shoulders. Awareness of arms. Hands. Front side of torso. Front side of torso. Awareness of back side of torso, back side. Noticing hips. Legs. Feet. Moving from the physical layer to the breath layer. No need to change your breath. Breath is breathing naturally. Noticing the upward movement of the inhales. The upward movement of inhales. Focusing now on the downhill movement of the exhales. Downhill movement of the exhales. And if you haven't done it yet, noticing them together. The upward movement of inhales, and then the downward movement of the exhale. Very nice. Wiggling the fingers, perhaps touching the fingertips with the thumb tip, feeling the movement in the hands, the touch of the fingers. Placing the hands on the chest. We'll take 3 Brahmari breath. That's the humming exhale. Another option for the hands is to just gently touch the eyebrows and the earlobes with the eyebrows with the fingers and the earlobes with the thumbs to darken, to shadow the eyes and maybe close off hearing. This intensifies the sensation of the hum. So if that suits you, please place your hands over the eyebrows and the ears. Let's do the first inhale together and exhale 3 hums at your rhythm. Inhale. If you are lying on the floor, please reawaken your body slowly when you are ready. Eventually bending the knees until the feet are on the floor so that you can roll over to the side. And then pushing yourself using your top arm up out of fetal position. We'll all meet with palms together, chest lifted to the thumbs, bowing the head to the hands, bowing in recognition to the inner light that burns within each of us, our source of love, peace, joy. And with the recognition in others. I have so much gratitude for each and every one of you. Blessings to your day, to your community, and to your families. Namaste.